Hi guys, Kaiser here, and welcome to part 3 of what's turning into a little bit of a series here. I have my third and hopefully final update video on the latest news surrounding Age of Empires 2, The Return of Rome. A bunch of new information has released as the expansion pack has come out for what's called the Content Creator Preview Program. So there are a bunch of people who've got an early access to the expansion pack or are able to check it out. Unfortunately, Iron Kaiser Gaming is not in that program yet, fingers crossed. But a bunch of news has come out and we can talk about it. And what I want to do is I want to share this news with you, and I sort of want to mix it in with what I think are the 4 most interesting, most exciting things about this expansion pack from an Age of Empires 2 perspective. I mean, obviously we have the whole AoE1 coming to AoE2, but there are 4 things that are maybe hidden behind the scenes that I think are worth spotlighting and talking about. They're pretty cool. So let's dive first of all into the most important and most exciting piece of news, which is actually a reversal, a change of course from what I mentioned in my previous video. I had said before, and they had announced before, that the Romans would only be available in single player and unranked multiplayer. They would not appear on the ranked ladder. And I mentioned at the time I thought that was a mistake. We've never really seen a civilization be split like that before from the whole AoE2 experience. They've gone back on that. There was a lot of feedback. A lot of people mentioned, why are they doing this? Why can't they bring them into ranked? And they have reversed course. The Romans will now appear on the ranked ladder. So they will be fully and completely in Age of Empires 2 DE. I think that's a really good choice. I think it makes sense. If you're going to add in a civilization, you're going to put in the work. Go all the way to make it as balanced as you can and bring it into the full AoE2 DE experience. And that's my first point, is that the Forgotten Empire devs, the Age of Empires 2 developers, they listen to their audience. And my hat is off to them for that. Kudos to them. They listened to the feedback. They responded to it. And I applaud that. Well done. Now, there are videos out there from some of the members of this Content Creator Preview Program that are going over the Roman civilization, all the different attributes, the aspects of the unique units. For me, I went over it listening to Ornlu the Wolf, and he's got a really good video on it. I had considered talking about the Roman bonuses, but I realized if I were doing that, I was just aping off of his video, and I don't want to do that. So check out the description below. I'll link to Ornlu's video, and you can see him go over the different attributes and elements of the Roman civilization for AoE2. I'll let him talk about the different features there. It's pretty cool. The Romans seem very interesting. But there's one aspect of the Roman civilization that I think is definitely worth talking about, and that is a brand new naval unit. The Romans don't get access to bombard cannon. Instead, they get a replacement unit called the Droman. And the Droman is not only available for the Romans, but has also been given to the Byzantines, the Goths, and the Huns. Ornlu describes it as a kind of mangonel of the sea. And again, it's a replacement for the bombard cannon. I find that really fascinating, and more so than the fact that... Let me put it this way. I am really encouraged that they are continuing to go back to the naval aspect of the game and change it. They've introduced this new unit and some regional naval units. I think that's a really cool thing, a really good idea. And I'm hoping that it might signal the start of a complete naval overhaul for AoE2 DE. I mentioned before the Rome at War total conversion mod for AoE2. I think one of the most exciting things that they've done, and a way in which they've, in my opinion, maybe pointed toward the future of where AoE2 should go, is a complete naval overhaul. And I would love to see that in Definitive Edition. I think that's one aspect of the old game that was never really that great, and they could totally transform, and I think everybody, or most everyone, would be really happy with that, is a change of how the naval aspect works. So there's more strategy, there are more unit options and choices, and micro and macro, and things going on with the naval part of the world. And that's really great. So the Droman is a really exciting unit. It's fun to see them introduced not just for the Romans, but for some of these older civilizations. That's something else I really like, touching up these older civs with new features. I'm a big fan of that in Definitive Edition, so I like to see it. The Droman should be really neat. Another element of the Romans, my third point, is their unique unit, the Centurion. So the Centurion is a cavalry unit. It's comparable to a knight or a cavalier type unit. But what it does, and I believe this is the first unit of its kind, the Centurion has an aura effect where it improves the speed, I believe it's the movement speed and the attack rate of infantry surrounding the Centurion. So yes, you could play the Centurion just as a knight unit and play it as cav, or you could use it as a general sort of support unit for an infantry army in order to get them to melt through, buildings faster and that kind of thing. And the Centurion should work really well with the Roman legionaries or Roman infantry. That should be a lot of fun to see, and I'm looking forward to casting some games from the Romans using the Centurion. But what excites me about that is not the specifics of the Centurion, but more broadly that this is the very first unique unit in the game that has this kind of aura effect. And I think it's really exciting. Some people will say that maybe it, it's different. We've never seen in Age of Empires 2 this kind of aura effect before. In my opinion, that's an exciting thing. It opens up a whole new world of design potential as they're introducing new civilizations and, updates to old civilizations. Having these kinds of mechanics in the game, I think this is a good thing. I think it fits. It's not like we're introducing hero units with spell powers, but an aura surrounding a general unit or something like that, I think makes a lot of sense. So I think that's a really cool unit, and I'm really excited to see what modders do or what, again, the Forgotten Empire devs do in the future with these sorts of mechanics. I actually had, I'm working on a civilization theory right now, which was going to use a unique unit that had this exact mechanic. So it's pretty cool to actually see it in the game like this. The final thing that we have to talk about with Return of Rome, the final thing that I think is really exciting about what this expansion pack is bringing to the game, is actually found in the main menu. In Ornlu's video, he shows off how when you start the game, you get the regular Age of Empires 2 menu, but now there's a little sidebar to the left where you can click between AoE2 DE and AoE2 Return of Rome. And you just click on that icon and it'll switch the game that you're playing. It's very seamless, very straightforward. And I think that's very exciting for a couple of reasons. Theoretically, it opens the door for Microsoft to add even more alternate games within the AoE2 engine. For example, if they ever got the rights to Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds back, maybe we could see a Galactic Battlegrounds Definitive Edition. Or maybe even some other franchise wants to build a new game within that AoE2 DE engine, or Microsoft decides to build a new kind of game in that DE engine. That would be really cool. Or, what might also be neat, I've had a lot of videos focused on the mod developers and the creative side of Age of Empires. And I'm hoping that this functionality is accessible to modders so that they can more easily implement their mods into the game. A little icon would pop up that would say, AoE Rome at War, right? Or Age of Empires, Iron Kaiser's, personal patch note changes or whatever, like my own little tweaks to the game or something like that. That would be accessible to mod developers, and you could click on that button and play your modded version of the game very simply with the press of a button. I hope that's available. I don't know if it is, but it's possible, and that would be a lot of fun if it is. Those, in my opinion, are the four main things. Top of the list has to be the Romans are actually coming to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, so congratulations, guys. They heard your feedback. You did it. If you liked this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And let me know what you are excited about. The one thing I didn't really talk so much about in this video is the actual Return of Rome, the Age of Empires 1 game in AoE2 DE. Are you looking forward to the Return of Rome? Or are you more excited for the Romans in AoE2 DE? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see next. For now, this is the Iron Kaiser, signing off. Have a great one.